Coffee Break with Hayley. I'm a professional dancer and a rolfer. As a rolfer, I help you with your posture and alignment to find more ease, to come through pain you might be experiencing or conditions that you might be living with, to find more ease in those, and maybe also to find more ease and more grace and more easiness in anything that you do in your life as a dancer or a body worker or a chef or a fireman or a mechanic. So I'm doing these tiny coffee break videos, movement lessons at the moment each weekday, and they are to help you feel better and also to hopefully give you some insight into how you could affect your mental and emotional health and well-being through moving, and not just maybe by doing it and feeling better, but maybe also by understanding how each movement affects you and experiencing that. So understanding, to understand, comes from has a deeper meaning. So it's not just I receive some information, I believe it. It's I understand a topic, a piece of information. I understand it. It's below, underneath me, and filtering through. Yeah. So I hope that these give you greater agency and power to affect your own mental and emotional health, and by doing, and then also by understanding why and how you're doing it. So today we do a tiny thing which is for the upper back and the diaphragm area, and I'll explain a little bit at the end how I sense that this, how I know and experience and sense that this helps our more of our emotional and mental health. So you need a tiny bit of floor that's clean today. So, because you're going to put your head down on it at one point. So if you need to go and sweep or hoover before you do this tiny little bit, then you can pause me and go and do that. So you're going to be in kneeling, but you could also do this in sitting. So I'll talk you through the alternatives in sitting in a chair. But if you're happy kneeling, then let's go to our knees. Okay. I'm just gonna turn my camera up a tiny bit so you can see, because you need to see my arms as well. So just to make sure that you can. Great. Okay. So in kneeling, feel your weight going through your knees. And you'll notice a tendency for the lower back to deepen here, for the curve to deepen, and that's fine, that's normal. So feel that. And that's good. And then let's open to a different possibility, which is from the middle back. From the middle back, there could also be an arching there, or a bending that would enable you to look up. So this doesn't really enable you to look up, right? But from here, this does. So there's a lengthening maybe of the muscles here. And you might feel the weight going through your knees more. So let that happen. So from the middle back, and then you might feel the diaphragm and the ribs opening at the front more here. And we lift the arms. And you might want to look up or a little bit up. And as your arms are up, you'll feel even more weight going through your knees. Great. And then I'm just going to turn so you can see me, but you don't need to turn. We're going to let the hands melt down our face, chest, down our knees. If you're sitting in a chair, this is just the same. It's just that you feel the weight going in your sit bones rather than your knees. So you can also melt the hands down, melt them down the lap. And if you're kneeling, you go down to sitting on your feet. And if you're kneeling, you continue to melt the hands along the floor. Yeah, and then you're going to let the head touch the floor, and I'm just going to show you what it will do, because it's hard to see if my head's on the floor. But you really just let the weight of the head roll on the floor, so that the arms are like ribbons. They're not doing any holding of you, or they're not in tension, and they might move. The shoulders and the arms might move as you move the head. So it's like that. So try that. So the arms are like ribbons. So I'm doing with my head now, if you want to look. So I'm just taking it one way, and I'm really feeling the weight on the floor, and then taking it the other way. Yeah. And if you're sitting in a chair, you could just, guide with the hands just to the knees, and then you could, in space, really let the head go. So I'm doing it now if you want to watch. Yeah. And this really helps to open, particularly if you're on the head on the ground, to open the upper ribs. And most of us are a bit closed in the first two ribs, these top ribs, because we're on our iPhones loads and we're typing, or we're a bit frightened. Yeah. So to open this is lovely for everyone. Yeah. And it can really affect our breathing, becomes better. Also, maybe our sense of anxiety can be affected by these two ribs being a bit closed. You can't get enough breath in, and then of course you're going to feel a bit panicky. Of course, things in the world can affect our anxiety, but this is what happens in the body. And then we can work from the body to affect ourselves and then the world, right? Make a less anxious world. Wouldn't that be nice? Okay. And then we'll come back up again to our knees, and we'll find the middle back curve, the lifting from here. Yeah, the arms go up, and then again they melt all the way down to the head roll. And then we come up, middle back, from the middle back. Yeah? Great. Okay, so we try with some sound, maybe 4 times together. Here we go. I'm not going to talk while we do, so we can just be in the feeling of it. But if you have any questions afterwards or want to let me know how it was, then you can be in touch with me by private message or by commenting on the link below in Facebook or on YouTube. Okay? So finding the weight on your feet, on your knees. Again, lifting. finishing your last one. It really gives you great hairdo, this exercise. Of course you can do these exercises more times over if you're loving it. And the piece of music I use is always on the bottom of the description in the YouTube video. And today it was Neil's Farm, because this must be beautiful though. So this lifting from the middle back really, and you might feel that it really brings the front ribs into the space, right? That's really good for social resilience. So really feeling you have a front that you can be in the world with. Also very good for breathing because it opens the diaphragm. Yeah. So if I'm just doing this, you know, then the back of the ribs are really landing on my lower back all the time, and I don't have enough space, and maybe I get growly or anxious or something. And yeah, like I said, these rolling of the head to open these ribs. There's lots we can do to open these upper two ribs, which we can do a bit more of in other videos. But it really affects, all of us have this closed, so it really affects us to spend some time to open these, yeah, so we don't just get dictated, our postures don't get dictated by our iPhones. Great, thanks for joining.